Hello and welcome back to another episode of Music Nuggets. Today's nugget is the first in a new series called WTF is Diminished Scale. I've chosen to do this because I think it's a scale that many musicians don't know much about how to use it, and what it contains, the potential it contains. And we're going to start today with just introducing the scale and looking at some of the chords that are contained within it. So the scale itself is an 8-note scale, as opposed to common diatonic scales. You can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 before it comes back round to an octave again. So it's unusual from the get-go. Other things that are strange about it is it's completely symmetrical. So it moves in whole tone, semitone, whole tone, semitone, whole tone, semitone, whole tone, semitone, back to the root, and it will just keep going like that forever. That means that there is a repetition of the scale every minor third, because you've only got those 3 notes. You've actually only got 2 keys of this thing before it repeats. So you've got the whole half, and you've got half whole. And really the rest of the fretboard is just modes of that. So like if I take from here to here, for example, you'll be able to repeat that and get exactly the same sound every 3 frets or every minor third. So you see how it's the same sound, just repeating every minor third. So it's really interesting in that respect. It also means that any chords that come out of it will repeat every 3 frets. So I think one thing to take into consideration, if you can see a triad in this, then the same triad will repeat every minor third. So let's see if we can see a triad. B flat, there is a B flat major triad. The vamp that I was playing over at the beginning was a B flat 7 with a flat 5. So if you want to get friendly with this scale and mess around and you've got a looper, then that's a good candidate for it. But like, many chords can come out of this. So there's a B flat major chord triad there. If you have a B flat major, then you must be able to get a G major, because you could go a minor third down. And right enough, you can see if you look closely, there's G root, major third, and a 5th. And there's the root again, so it's like a C-shaped G. So you could find that within this scale. So what I'm playing there is completely, that's my pinky third, that's my first finger, and that's my second finger. So that's in there too. If you can go a minor third down, then you can surely go a minor third up. So that's D flat major, and you can see that in the scale here. So that sound there, surely you get the same sound if we go there. That's 5th root major third. And then there's, if you go up another minor third from there, you get E major. And right enough, there's B flat, down a flat 5th is an E root, and there's an E 5th string root shape that we know and love. So they're all in there. And that already has quite an interesting compositional flavor to it, just moving between those 2 chords. There's something really kind of regal and medieval about that. So I think that's interesting from the get-go. You'll also maybe notice that all of these chords can be minor triads. So look, you can see there is B flat minor, and there is G minor. So instead of root major third fifth, root minor third fifth, and they can all be minorized. So there's E minor, and what are we missing? B flat, D flat, G, D flat minor. Oh, so D flat minor would be that note is that note. So fifth root minor third. Is there a simpler way to see that? There is, because there's B flat, there is B, C, D flat, there's a minor triad there, root minor third, fifth. So yeah, there's something in that in itself, like those chords moving in these weird symmetrical ways. I think as listeners we like symmetrical movement within an octave, so there's definitely something to explore there compositionally. I've done it myself with my band Bloke Music. I'll put a link to one of our compositions which is really based around diminished chord movement. A really interesting thing about this, the same scale, so if that's B flat, then you've got the same thing on G. And we did a thing that starts on G, and it rises through G, E, D flat, B flat, and it keeps doing that. It's a sort of weird barbershop pole effect, because you can just take inversions of the same chords and then rise and rise. So it's the same four chords repeating: B flat, E, D flat, sorry, G, E, D flat, B flat, G, E, D flat, B flat, G, E, D flat, B flat, G. So that's really cool. What's even cooler is, if you think about those chords, the bass of those chords is moving down the way. So it's like G, then E, then D flat, then B flat, and then G again, and then E. So you've got this really interesting contrary motion of chords and bass movement. There's lots of potential there too. Check it out, it'll be in the comments, not the comments, the description below. Bloke Music is the name of the band. We like to experiment with weird sounds and weird rhythms. Other bands have done this too, just really experimented with the compositional potential of this sound on its own. King Crimson is a really notable one, I would say. A big fan of King Crimson stuff. So yeah, you can actually just compose with this and stay in this tonality for a whole piece. But throughout this series, we'll look at different ways of using this in more functional, more regular musical contexts, as well as the weirder ones too. There's all sorts of things can be done with this. You can make triad pairs out of them, because there are so many triads in this that you can imply the sounds of chords with this. So first one that comes to mind is if you take the B flat and the E from this and make triad pairs out of that, you get this sound: B flat, E, and I'll just alternate B flat, E. So that's kind of interesting when you start to make that into patterns. There's another thing that's really interesting that we'll look at, and it's Nicholas Slanimsky. He wrote a book of patterns based on diminished scale, based on diminished arpeggios, that lots of jazz guys have used for improvising over the 5-chord, especially because it suits that tense material. So that's really interesting too. We'll look at some Slanimsky patterns, ways to use them in jazz and blues, and hopefully you'll see that there's ways to use this really weird scale a lot more tastefully. But that's all for now. I just wanted to introduce the scale. Go explore it. Hopefully you get something out of that. And if you haven't already, click subscribe, click like if you like this, and I will see you next time. Thanks very much for watching. Bye bye.